Christmas memories are made. This is Christmas Central 2023, and it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's also obviously a departure from past themes of mine. In a way, it really doesn't have a theme, which is kind of the theme. It's a tribute to Christmases past. It's a very nostalgic setup. Originally, my premise behind this setup, believe it or not, was what would Christmas Central look like if I set it up in the 90s? Now, those of you who have been following my channel for a while know that the very first Christmas Central was 2009, and since then I've just kind of expanded it with more and more color lights and all that. But what if I had actually started it when I was, I don't know, 10 or like 9 or 8? Well, obviously it wouldn't look anything like this, but it still wouldn't look anything like this. But the idea of growing up, the Christmas tree just being this central icon, some pun intended, and, I did have a Christmas village, and in fact, many of the Christmas village houses featured on this year's display are intentionally from the 90s or, like, kind of mid-2000s era. There are some new ones, such as the Holly Jolly Hotel, which I thought fit in perfectly. In fact, this whole setup is about marrying the new with the old, so when I kind of promised earlier, like, bigger changes to Christmas Central or kind of, like, reinventing the setup, I don't want to say I was lying, but, like, it's not like that big a thing. Like, it's not like, oh my god, I, like, really, did it up differently or anything like that. But like I said, I mean, it all comes back to the Christmas tree. And, of course, on this tree, it's hard not to talk about the myriad of memories. That's a fun one to say, myriad of memories that are littered throughout this tree, from recent days to more, of the obscure Christmases of the past to some of the really bizarre ornaments. And then, of course, this awesome new Dreamcast ornament. And littered throughout Christmas Central itself, in addition to the usual, we have these beautiful twinkling warm white lights. And it was very important to me to get the warm white aesthetic to the point where I had to make a few cuts to Christmas Central that we normally see every year. One of them is the bright white star that we usually see on top of the tree, the kaleidoscope star that I started in 2020. That is notably absent here, and it still works. I still have it, but it was important to me to kind of focus more on the classic star on top of the tree, which has not been seen since 2019. And yeah, it's not as bright, I get that, but in a way it's almost more bright, because you walk in here and you're just hit with this, blast of, I can't even describe it. Like, that's what I mean when I say there's no theme. Like, there is a theme, but there's not a theme. It's just all nostalgia all the time, and it's different in some ways. In my initial vision to kind of reimagine this as a 90s Christmas Central, in some ways it almost feels more like an evolution of like the 2014, 2013 era Christmas Centrals, where it was a lot more calm, it was a little more tranquil, it was kind of a thing, and even when I'm saying these words, I'm thinking of my past selves and how I would, kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? I would kind of make that point, that I wanted to be more tranquil, because Christmas can be a lot of things. And obviously, when the clock goes off at midnight on Christmas Day, none of these words are going to matter, because I'm just going to end up going completely crazy as usual. But tranquility is a big part of it. I mean, even in 2020, when I did my all, blue city setup, like, it was all about just kind of this feeling of stillness and calm, and that's not a bad thing. My Christmas Central setups, even though they're completely different from year to year, like, they're not at odds with each other. Like, there's still fun to be had in this setup, just like there's still calmness to be had in my more wacky setups. Like, there's always, Christmas is this perfect marriage of all these different feelings, and that's what I wanted to evoke here. Whether it's the classic retro Coke on the back windowsill, and I always have some reference to Coke. I have the Coke bottles on the piano this year. I've got the Coke factory, as always. But, getting this little Coke platter here, which I actually got, fun fact, back in August with my friends Frankie and Corey, and everything in here is, either from past Christmas Centrals. There's a few things that are new, but not as much as other years. Biggest new thing is probably these bright white lights, like I mentioned, and it all works in a really nice harmony. It really doesn't, and I know it's going to sound like a cop-out, it doesn't look as good on camera as it does in person, and that's a shame, because I'm always going to remember this, with the videos, but, like, just looking at it right now, I love it. It reminds me, like I said, of what I wanted it to, which is the early to mid-90s Christmases, an era that I never talk about because I was really too young to remember a lot of it, but an era of Christmas that is still near and dear to my heart. Of course, these are like my infancy Christmases, like literally. Talk about Christmas '99, that was the last Christmas of the 90s, and there's very little footage of that. So going back beyond that, Christmas '97, '96, and so on, it was all about, bright white lights, warm white lights, whatever. I mean, anyone who grew up in the 90s can attest to that. I mean, yeah, they had colored lights, and I do have colored lights on my tree. But yeah, the most of this setup is a lot more muted than you would see in past years, and honestly, more muted than you'll see in future years. Because like I said, every year I go year to year, but Christmas 2023 has already been just a slam dunk home run, and I look forward to following up on what 2022 did. And, you know, I could go on and on about the other Christmas. I'm trying to keep it focused on 2023 because this is the new vision. Even stuff like my hats, because like in the past, you know, 2020 I had the blue hat. 2021 I had the green hat, which you could argue goes with this year. And then last year I had a red hat, more traditional. I've got a Red Sox hat. I've got a lot of Santa hats, in case you guys, that should be no surprise to anybody. But, I mean, what really goes with this setup? I guess you could say the green, because my logo is green, and of course the logo I mentioned goes with the theme of this, but I try not to get tied up in themes. I try not to be like, oh, it can only be old-fashioned, or it can only be this or that. The other omission I wanted to mention really quick was the magic tracks. The magic tracks that I started putting in here in 2018 are also missing from this setup. It's not that I didn't like them, I didn't think they really worked with this setup, even though it does have some toy-like elements to it. I didn't think a bunch of rainbow tracks running around the tree when I'm trying to go for this more calm aesthetic really worked. I do love the magic tracks. They will be back in 2024, but for this year, and that's weird to say, but yeah, this is the current Christmas. This is, as you guys know, when it comes to me, the only Christmas that matters is the current Christmas. No offense to my past Christmases. I love them all. And to that end, they are up on the video board, as they always are, just like the grid of memories with the pictures. So nothing has been left out or forgotten. But, you know, the most important Christmas for me right now, with about a month to go, is 2023. So that is the one that I'm going to focus on. I can't wait to be back in here for all kinds of stuff. I mean, obviously the fireside chat and the Christmas countdown are the two big ones, but I come in here a lot. I come in here during every Christmas season. I just kind of just check it out and get lost in it. I know it sounds really weird, but I don't think you guys would want to see videos of me just sitting here. I shouldn't say that, some of you probably would. You don't want to see videos of me just sitting here getting lost in my own Christmas stuff, but it is a wonderful sight. No matter what it is, no matter how I do it. Christmas Central every year, I just can't even believe it. I know it sounds like I just repeat myself every year, but I really am always like, is this really here? You know, like December 1st, I still remember, November 1st, I remember still just setting this up and just being like, holy crap, like, you know, the first couple days I set it up, it's just lighting, it's just putting some lights on here, but from there, it just quickly turns into this vision to the point where even it's almost like an out-of-body experience, like even I don't remember like how I did it or what my thought process was, but like I'm just really, really excited how it turned out, and I'm really hoping you guys are excited about it too. So, Christmas, 2023, I mean, what else do I say? This is going to be a great Christmas, you know, like, I don't try to, like, rate them and be like, oh, it's going to be better than this one or as good as this one. Like, no, it's going to be a great Christmas, you know, and I'll be saying the same thing a year from now, just like I was saying the same thing last year. This is going to be a great Christmas, so do be excited for 2023. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Tell me about your Christmas setup if you have one, what you like about it, or, you know, if you like Christmas villages, have trees, all that good stuff. But I look forward to hearing about those comments and more. Thank you all so much. This is just the beginning. Christmas 2023. Hey.